Hey guys, Mike Healy here, and I am so excited to bring this Facebook Live to you. I have a special guest that I have recently become friends with, and I'm excited to interview. And I promise you, we're going to do a lot of interviews like this with Joseph Potestivo, who I like to affectionately call the crypto crystal ball man. I mean, basically, I've seen some people out there talking about cryptocurrency and financial literacy over the years. I've been an entrepreneur now going on about 23, 24 years. So I've seen a lot of great things. And Joe, I will tell you, the stuff that I've been learning off of you in such a short period has been nothing short of remarkable. So say hi to everybody because we're going to be putting this on our podcast, your groups, everything.
Great.
Give me a verbal hi. We're going to have an audio of a podcast too.
Excellent. As you know, thank you very much, Mike, for taking the time out. I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to talking with you and everyone today.
This is going to be awesome. So Joe, real quick, why don't we just start with everybody, because maybe a lot of people don't know who you are. Some people may know who I am or not. But Joe, I met you through a mutual friend that I've known for 20 some years, that I trust both as a friend and both as a business partner. And just he's been fantastic. His name's Bill. And he ended up telling me how it kind of came up was he said, "Hey, Mike, are you doing anything with cryptocurrency?" And I'm like, well, I've been seeing it. I've been hearing about it. I'm one of those guys that bought Bitcoin back, a century ago when it was first coming out, and, set it and forget it. It was worth some money. And then he told me about you. Real quick, why don't you tell everybody kind of your background, and then I'm going to throw out some questions. So the question is I want you to just basically share a little bit about your background, your history, how you kind of got into this space, and then I'm going to start asking you some questions, because the majority of people out there are hearing about cryptocurrency, hearing about Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, things like that, XRP, and have no idea what that means. And they're looking for answers, but people really have no idea how big the potential is here. So Joe, give us your background real quick, and then I'll ask you some questions.
Sure. The quick version, very boring. Out of high school, I went into the Air Force, rescue. From there, I got a job with Local One, which is elevated trade. And interestingly enough, there was this new transition at the time going on. They were taking what they called analog into digital. We were going from relay logic to solid state processes, which were brand new. So, I had to learn that through tech school. Who knew how it was going to pan out down the road? But the whole time, I worked for the same company for 33 years, and I retired early, young, whatever you want to call it, into trading. But I was trading the whole time, but for myself. My mom worked at a brokerage firm when I was a kid. I went to a Christmas party, and I could not believe how much money they had and they were spending. It was just, I couldn't wrap my mind around it, just like with crypto. I couldn't wrap my mind around it when I was introduced to that in 2013. I will say that when you talk to enough people that aren't in the space, they all have the same questions. They just use different words. They all have the same fears. Again, they use different words. But the general census is that they think that all these cryptocurrencies do the same thing. They don't realize each one is an individual product that can stand alone on its own. Which makes the speech from the media and the headlines very confusing. They seem to think that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and blockchain are one and the same. So when they throw it in, they say it's never going to last, it'll fail. Which one are they talking about? The one individual project known as Bitcoin? Because blockchain is going to change the world, period. Blockchain is incredibly special. And that's what all of these projects are coming on based on. All it is a secure layer on the internet. But in terms of background, been trading since the mid-'80s for myself, introduced to cryptocurrency 2013, and it trades in a very specific way. And that's what we teach. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. I know I just kind of threw it out there on you. So I think what's going to be fun for this conversation that we're going to have is that I know nothing per se as far as how crypto goes. So I'm kind of the perfect person to interview you right now about this, because I'm a married husband of 3 kids. Most of my kids I got one left in the house because I'm now in my 50s. I'm 53. I know you just are right around 60, correct?
58. Come on, don't give me
58. I'm sorry. It was somebody else. Okay, so you're in your 50s too. So people in our age group, we have seen, we've been around when cell phones really weren't popular.
Yeah.
Pagers were just coming out. Internet was just coming out. No one had ever heard of social media, that those things didn't exist. And so there's a lot of people in both the retirement age group, which we are kind of getting towards, and then there's the young people who are jumping on board with this stuff so quickly, that are capitalizing because they've been brought up in this kind of era, we could call it, right? Now, just for the, and kind of in the words of Michael Scott from the Office, explain this to me like I'm 6. Explain just kind of in a nutshell that why you believe cryptocurrency is not a fad. It's not, because I literally have heard people say it's the next, what they call the tulips, when they had the big investment thing over there. And I thought that because, you see most of these young kids posting coins and, and they look kind of, like they're just partying, and nobody has any real understanding of a real world application of this stuff. So just kind of in a nutshell, as I'm 6 years old, how does this kind of work?
Okay. So let's talk about it in terms of Bitcoin, because that's what everyone's heard about. They think everything else is Bitcoin, but let's talk just about Bitcoin for a second. So what is Bitcoin? What does make it special? They can't mine or anything for something that actually anything, right? So all it is in terms of the internet, think of Google as a layer on the internet. If you wanted a Google account, Google would give it to you. It would be blah, 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 .gmail.com. And anytime you send something to Google, does it go directly to Google? Most people can't answer that question. They would say yes, but the answer is no, it doesn't. It goes to Google. It doesn't go to the person you send it to. And Google determines that you're legitimate, the person you're sending it to is legitimate within that platform, and then they push it through. If not, it comes back to you and says undeliverable, and they tell you the reason why they couldn't deliver it. That's all Bitcoin is. But it's a system that doesn't require a centralized authority like Google, or like a bank, or like a government. So if I send you a Bitcoin, does it go directly to you? No. It goes into a network of computers globally. We're all connected to each other because we all have permission, just like Google gave us permission to have that Gmail account. When you downloaded Bitcoin, you gave them permission. So now you're part of a network. When I send you my Bitcoin, well, it's all basically math, right? It's math. And it's so the way that they had developed this is it has to get 6 approvals. So it goes around and it says, okay, Joe has this legit account. Yep, Mike is legit too. It has the ability to take from my ledger, my number. In other words, if I have 1.1 Bitcoin and I'm sending you 0.1 Bitcoin, it says Joe does have that and you do have a legitimate address. I approve this. Okay, I'm gonna try to use my hand. Hopefully it comes out.
Yeah,
that closes a block of information. It's locked. It can't be altered, that block. Once it's closed, it's not like a back door, can't be cracked, can't be broken into. And then it goes around and it gets the second set of approvals, and there's another one. Those blocks on top of each other are called blockchain. When it gets 6 of those, it pushes it through. There was no central authority. It's decentralized. So you hear terms that we're not familiar with, like, what does even decentralized mean? That's all it means. Well, what do they mean they could send something with a ledger? All it is a legit, secure way to send information. And that's what makes it special. When we look at all of the entities in the world that are being cracked through the internet, hacked and broken into, this is the answer. So the individual projects that are coming out, this one is about dental. This one is about the individual layers like Bitcoins. Let me see if my hand is on the camera. I hope it is.
Yeah, I can see it.
So if this is Bitcoin's unique layer on the internet, a secure layer, here's Ethereum's secure layer. It's not the same layer. It's a completely different project. Ethereum gave all of their information away and said, build your token on top of my network. I did all the lifting. I spent all the money. So now cheaply you can build on top of that. But every time you use Ethereum's network, you have to do your transactions in their gas. When they say their gas, they mean Ether, which is what Ethereum runs off of. The more companies that come on that network, the more use case for Ethereum, the more Ethereum goes up. So in a nutshell, that's what separates these projects, what they specifically do through blockchain.
This is
basic an answer as I can give you.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, that's probably one of the better answers I've heard of explaining it in simple terms. Now, okay, so let's talk about the people that like say, hey, I don't want to build anything that goes on the blockchain. How do I make money on the blockchain? But explain to me, I believe the term is called fractionalized investing, if I got it correct, because one of the big misconceptions is somebody sees the price of Bitcoin, which is, as the time of we're doing this recording, it's like in its upper 50s, like 50, 58, 57, 50, whatever, $1,000 per coin, right? Per coin. And people think, I don't have $50,000, $55,000 to get involved. I can't participate. I wish I would have listened to my buddy 8 years ago when he said it was $150, right? So explain to me the power of this fractionalized investing. If you want to go into other things that you think are going to be, I think it's called, the term is called being tokenized and stuff like that, throw that out there. So how do I with a minimal amount potentially participate and benefit from this coming wave?
I love the last word of that sentence, benefit, right? So that's what we focus on. We don't focus so much on the development of the actual cryptocurrency and tokenization. What we focus on is the benefits of use. So in theory, as a tech guy, I know most people don't know how their phone works. They don't know. They just don't know, but they want to know how to use it. So here, we read what the projects are, so you know what they are, so you can wrap your mind around use case and being global. But we don't get hung up on it. How can we make money on it? That's what we care about, right? So what we do is teach a formula to trade. Let's put that to the side so you can trade it. There's different formats of trading. There are day traders. We don't do that. You can do it, but we don't. It's too time consuming and I don't have the time for it. And I want to enjoy my life. So I prefer to trade daily, right? In other words, I buy something with an investor's mindset, like I'm going to hold it for a long time, but I'm not. As soon as it hits a specific number based on a past pattern, I'm going to sell it and take profit. And I just keep doing that. So I really only need to trade a dozen or so crypto. Okay. You said something about fractionalization that's really, really key. What people don't realize is when you're trading, if you were trading stocks, I had a conversation with you about Tesla before, and I said something to you that you never heard of when we discussed it. Yeah. I want to bring that up here if it's okay with you, because it's a perfect way to make
great point.
So if I wanted to buy Bitcoin and it's $58,000, the mindset that doesn't understand crypto says, I don't have $58,000. The mindset that does understand crypto, because they took the time to learn it, says, I'm going to buy $5 worth. I'm going to buy $10 worth. You can buy any amount of crypto you want because it is fractionalized. So one Bitcoin is 1.0000000, a lot of zeros. So if you wanted to buy, let's say Bitcoin is $50,000. If you wanted to buy $5,000 worth, you would buy 0.1. Right? If you wanted to buy $500, you would buy 0.01. If you wanted to buy $50, you would buy 0.001. You can buy whatever you want, and which is really the key to truly knowing how to trade. You trade in percentages, not in dollars. When people start talking about dollars, I don't even want to hear it. I don't care. I want you. Don't tell me how much money you made. It doesn't quantify anything. What was the percentage of profit that you made? So when you trade and you understand fractionalization, and I'll give you the Tesla example. And I know I didn't want to put you on the spot live here and ask you a question that I already asked you. So, but what I did ask you is, do you know how much Tesla's stock is? And nope. You weren't sure. So, it's somewhere between $600 and $700. And what I had said is, if you only had $1,000 to invest, or let's say, a better example. What if you had $500 to invest? Could you buy Tesla?
No.
No, because you have to buy one. It's a stock. Right. But what people don't know is there's already ways to invest in that through cryptocurrency backing Tesla. So in other words, every time you buy $10 worth of Tesla, this entity, this company, is buying a Tesla stock and allowing you to fractionally get involved. This is going to happen with every stock eventually. We already have been trading in the stock market cryptocurrency. So people who don't want to get in cryptocurrency are already buying cryptocurrency assets in the stock market. And it sounds confusing, but it's honestly not. Because it is fractionalized, you determine your amount of increment. And here's the key there. It allows somebody that really likes Amazon or Tesla to come in and say, I'm going to buy $10 a week. They could never really get involved. How long would it take them to save up enough money if Tesla keeps going up and they're saving $10? They may never get there, but here they could actually start purchasing it at $10 a clip. It doesn't matter if you're in the stock market or in crypto, because to us, what we look at is what triggers what. And again, because it's about percentages, you can buy $10 worth of any cryptocurrency you want because they're fractionalized, and that's the key. So the price doesn't matter. So again, I want to go the opposite way. We talked about something that was $50,000 and we said, oh, well, I can't afford it. Well, of course you can. You can buy $10 worth. What if it was 1/100th of a penny? I know a lot of people who bought Doge when it was 1/100th of a penny. How much did they buy? Well, they trade in $1,000 increments. So they bought $1,000 worth. All it means is you got more. What's the difference if you got 0.001 or if you got 20 million? It doesn't matter. It's still $1,000 worth. And you still want it to go up in percentages. So it's about educating people to understand a lot of stuff that they were told in the headlines. They don't even make sense because they're not telling the truth. It's a narrative.
So what you just said, we have to cover this a couple times because this is my favorite point about the percentages, was something that I didn't understand, because I've been an entrepreneur and I've been, I own a couple businesses and I do marketing and I've tried to get into stocks before and I usually get destroyed. So I just literally quit. I actually read the book you guys had recommended, Richest Man in Babylon. It saved me a lot of pain and grief because I was just wasting money. But go ahead.
Do me a favor, say that again because your audio cut out again. So if you want to start the question with the Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah, so I'd read The Richest Man in Babylon that you guys had recommended. I'd read it before, and what I really liked about it was that it gave me kind of a new perception on financial literacy that I really didn't understand. And so what I've seen is with this, there's every walk of life of a person basically has the opportunity to participate in something now with minimal necessarily education, but they need to just start to get slightly educated. So I want to talk about this for a moment. Is one of the reasons that I wanted to interview you is because I actually got in on your training. I am now a participant in your Facebook group that you guys do, that you're just basically educating people on this to make a more educated buying decision when they're looking at cryptocurrencies. And to me, I've been, as an entrepreneur, you always have to think outside of the box anyhow. Mm-hmm. But what you guys have opened up for me, the way I can make money traditionally like I'm normally doing with my other entities, but now I'm taking that money and letting my money make babies for me and multiplying my money on some of these things. And what I finally picked up that was the big aha moment for me was, again, I didn't have to have this massive amount of money to participate, that I could come in at small increments and follow the pattern that you guys had identified. I mean, I jokingly said you had a crypto crystal ball, but when it's really coming down to some of the patterns that you guys have identified and you teach in that training, it was like, holy smokes, even I can do this. And I know Bill very, very well. And I remember him saying the amount of money he's already made in profit because of what he'd learned from you guys blew me away. And then because I already saw the potential of, hey, I invested here and it would go to here. But when I figured out what you had taught in that training, that I could go from here to here and again and again and again and again, almost every day, every week, every month, whatever, and it started to compound, it was just like mind blown. So I don't even know where I was going with that question. I just got all fired up about your course and stuff. But I think what it came down to is, I like the fact that you guys have taken the time, you and your business partner, Mark, and a couple other people behind the scenes, that you're teaching financial literacy first and foremost, but you're showing people now and easily educating people on something that can be easily absorbed, because your video trainings are just a few minutes long. So you can go, and each one builds on the next one. It's just a handful of videos. When you came up with this, it's brilliant and it's working for people. I mean, I've seen all the testimonies in the Facebook group, and I've had people that I've recommended to it and stuff like that already. This is just the tip of the iceberg at what you can do with crypto. like with all the other things that are coming and the things
Right.
that you guys have planned as well. Maybe throw some of that stuff out there. And I know I just went all over the place like Tasmanian devil in a room, but I get excited about this.
Good, good. So to try and wrap that all up, the richest man in Babylon, where that came from was people would pay to learn crypto. And what we realized quickly is they don't understand the basics about finance. So everything they were hung up on with crypto was actually true with fiat currency. But I needed them to know that before they sat with me so they could absorb the cryptocurrency. They were getting hung up on things that had nothing to do with cryptocurrency. You know, they were saying, oh, but it's really just a belief system. It's not backed by anything. And, you know, again, in a debate with someone, what's fiat backed by? You know what I mean? So we put that together. And The Richest Man in Babylon in story format is a great book. So we recommended people go through a certain process so that they could absorb the cryptocurrency swiftly and efficiently. That's one of the reasons we did it that way. In terms of the content being put on video, one of the reasons we did that was your friend Bill said something to me. Now, he took the course prior to it being filmed, and he said he felt like it was so much information because it wasn't familiar to him. It's not that he didn't know a lot of it, it's that it wasn't familiar to him the way it was being presented. And he said it was like taking a drink out of a fire hydrant. Just, it was so much. And then, you know, the class was in one day. That's it. Here's your little booklet, you're done. So by putting it in video format, it enabled us to do it in bite-sized things. They could watch them one after another after another. They have them, they're theirs. So it worked out really well for us because if they got stuck on something, they could keep watching it. And then when they were done, we do everything with the live events to the next level. So, the whole goal was to not throw everything cryptocurrency can do at you, but let you know to not be afraid of it. And once you understand and see its value and its use cases, and I happen to have one here, and a little card, you know, information check chart of we don't really trade too many assets because they don't meet our criteria. We're not even trading Bitcoin. It's not profitable enough. People say, what are you talking about? It's up 600%. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's not profitable enough. Why would I trade something up 600% when I'm trading something that's up 4,000%, 7,000% in the same time period? Doesn't make any sense. But they can't wrap their mind around it because they can't even understand Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is a product. So in terms of what else is out there, tokenization projects. I'm an angel investor. What does that mean?
And be very, very simple on what tokenization means. Because when I first heard tokens, I think of, at my age group, a token is what you stick in an arcade game.
So the batting cage.
Batting cage, right.
So earlier I had said that Bitcoin was a unique layer on the internet, a secure layer. And then I said Ethereum is also a secure layer, not the same one, but a secure layer. Ethereum did what Bill Gates did with Microsoft. You know, they knew they were going to get in trouble with a monopoly, so they gave their software away and told companies, build it on top of our structure. And they all built all these companies, and they all made money, and he became the richest man in the world. Ethereum did the same thing. You know, it was funny being a trader in crypto at the time, saying, look, it's almost like Ethereum was taking notes of the headlines of what regulatory bodies were saying was wrong with Bitcoin, and they were eliminating them one by one. They want this to be the regulated darling that the world embraces. So, you know, while governments said that, oh, well, we don't know where the transactions are, those are all lies. Every transaction is on the ledger. Any one of us can go in and see every single transaction. So what Ethereum did was say, put your project on here. Now there's hundreds of projects on Ethereum's network, right? Every time they do that, that's a tokenization project. So Ethereum is a coin, a cryptocurrency coin. That's the actual layer. And anything that they create is a token that's on their same layer, right? Okay. How do you make money in a tokenization project? They were calling them IPOs. And people were coming in the beginning. They never even heard of it. They were just throwing money at it. All of a sudden, at 10x, they made a lot of money, throwing it into the next one. The governments determined that the word coin was more related to a fiat currency and frowned upon it. And then they turned around and somehow everyone awarded Switzerland the Golden Global Authority. And Switzerland put some criteria out and said that, well, an IPO has to have revenue. Well, think about this. If you're a startup and you have no business, how can you have revenue?
No idea.
So all of a sudden, the applications stop coming in because they now have to have revenue first. And the headlines read, crypto's done. applications down. Nobody, of course they're down. Now you have to build your project, find your funding internally, right? So let's talk about how many ways of opportunities there are to make money in a tokenization project. What I realized when I got involved is a tokenization project can take between 6 and 24 companies outside the one company to create that project. Who's negotiating those contracts? Who's managing those timelines? I'm pretty good at that. And I'm a corporate guy, so I kind of, when I say something, I do it. When there's a deadline, I really mean it. I felt like I was dealing with a lot of young people that were very good, but in creativity, but terrible in timelines and project management. And we got 24 companies and the timelines matter. It's a big deal. A lot of overruns, a lot of costs. Okay, so if you were an angel investor, you could invest in that in the beginning when it's a half a penny. And when it goes live at a dime, you're already out. You made your money. We have the ability to offer that to people. We're going to tokenize real estate, but we don't want to tokenize it the way that some of the projects have already happened. And through the SEC, there's a certain number of investors. If you stay under it, take the whole project, divide it by 100 investors, and you can sell the tokens for that dollar amount. We don't want to do that. I don't want to tell you the secret sauce just yet, but by the end of this year, we want to start tokenizing real estate that every and anyone can get involved in fractionally. Not a $50,000, $100,000 token. We want to be able to do it fractional. I'll just leave it at that. That's another way to invest in it. If you have the ability to day trade, right? Obviously, that's easy money. If you know how to do it, you're in there. Once you hit your number, you're out. So if something is going dug, you're in. It's also a way of identifying the headlines. What do they actually mean to me? I'll use my daughter as the example. She was frustrated because she heard Elon said it was great. So by the time she got it, it was up, and then it started going down. All of this on a chart is easy to see a pattern. Once you see that pattern, it's just like looking at a real estate or a past indicator of the stock market. Most people don't know the stock market is on a 7-year cycle. If you did know that, you would change the way you invest in the stock market. Crypto's no different. It follows Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on a 4-year cycle. Most people don't know that. If you knew that in a real estate market was going up and that it was going to come down, where would you buy it? Would you buy it on the up, or would you wait? So again, there's a lot of money in that. All of the entities that support these processes, we're teaching people, there's money in that. You sharing this with people. So there are a lot of different ways to make money in this. And the projects that are coming out are unbelievably creative. So we talked about Bitcoin being a layer, Ethereum being a layer. There are multiple companies coming out. You mentioned XRP. They want to be the banks, right? So if Bitcoin fails, that has nothing to do with Ripple. Ripple's signing all the countries of the world to do bank transactions. So
Ripple's the same name as XRP.
Yes. Well, that's the ticker for
ticker code. Okay.
XRP is the ticker for Ripple, right? So here you have these 4 independent layers. Along comes a company called Chainlink that's connecting these layers. Along comes these companies. Right now, we have a chip situation in the world because high-tech chips are in great demand right now. They need them for mining rigs. There are people that are mining cryptocurrency. You can mine cryptocurrency on your phone now. I mean, this is crazy. It was at a point where it's consuming so much energy. It doesn't consume anything on your phone. Right? So the opportunities just keep rolling out. And, so here's another thing you and I discussed very briefly at one point is I try to tell people, sorry about that, in the simplest forms of getting involved in cryptocurrency, because I believe you must lead with education. They must have the basic finance. Once you have the basic finance, you could tell us how you were able to absorb it and it made sense to you. Once it makes sense to you and you dig in a little more, it's easy to get involved and see where your niche is, right? We don't put anyone in a box telling anyone how to do anything. I see a cross behind you. We're not about feeding people for a day. We're about teaching them how to fish so they can feed them for a lifetime. That's a big thing here. Everyone wants someone to trade for them. Tell them the newest thing. Well, get the subscription. We're posting everything we know and everything we do. So how do we stay on top of the front line? Our top 10 right now are not the same top 10 from last year. Doge for us was a long-term hold because there wasn't enough volume. So we were in it because we thought it was great, and then it exploded. It's a good position to be in, right? But it would have been very hard to track that and see that. But it was always a great asset that didn't have enough volume that was a good long-term hold. So it was hot, holo. Those are great ways to make money. A long-term investor, someone who doesn't have to look at anything, who doesn't care, he just wants a trajectory that 5 years from now or 10 years from now is going to increase. We have a strategic partner that, I wish this would have came up. I knew this was, I would have showed it to you, but I have a certificate. It looks just like a stock certificate.
Oh yeah, I saw that on your YouTube channel. That video hasn't been made live yet, but I saw it.
Listen, we're in the early stage. We're in a pre-launch. So we didn't even scratch the surface for what we're going to teach our subscribers. The ability to, some people don't really want to even know about it. They want to invest, buy it, throw it in a safety deposit box and give it to the grandkids. We have a very safe, insurable asset that they can do that with. In other words, purchase it, send the email, if you will, right, into the certificate, and the certificate is being housed in a bank under the eyes of your bank. And if you want to get insurance on it, you can get insurance on it. So they don't know a lot of things yet because we've tried to simplify how to get involved and understand it. And now that we're in that, we're going to go into the next phase of investment and then start bringing the individual opportunities out there. And then based on feedback, we'll see where we go to, but we're always going to stay on the front line of where this is going. Here's the thing. No, you gave me some kudos, a nice compliment early on, but this isn't about me, it's about us. We as a community of like-minded people that are interested in the benefits of cryptocurrency are way greater than any one of us could possibly be. Some of the assets that we trade, they came from the subscribers. So hey, I found something. The first question I asked, does it meet our criteria? Yes, great, let's look at it. We look at it together. I'm buying this right now. And we bought it immediately. Where did that come from? That came from the subscription, because us as one community are together than any one of us can be. And the more we grow, the key here is, I always end up going into this area, but I can't help it. I personally think we can help so many people that really need it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things, a lot of division in our country right now. And in the inner cities, I know what the solution is. I know what it is in my mind. You can tell me I'm wrong, I won't believe you. I believe that the inner city needs financial education. I believe that they're punished if they try to get a job and they take their benefits away from them, that they want these benefits so bad they don't know anything else, they're afraid to lose them. I think we have to educate them financially that you don't want those benefits. You want to live free and control your income and live where you want. Yep. But there's a great divide to how to get from here to here. And I believe we can do that. I'm trying to actively get what we teach into the school system and let our kids be taught this for free. If we were all taught this for free, we would be the same country we are now. And someone said to me, well, if everyone knew how to do this, would the market be different? No, it won't be different. You have to realize for you to buy something, someone has to sell it. For you to sell someone has to buy it. When do we buy? After it crosses a line that we, on our pattern. When do we sell? When it reaches a certain point before it even tails down. Yep. The more of us, the merrier. You know what I mean? The more people debt-free and in control of their finances, the better we are as a community and the more people we can help.
That's awesome. And so to kind of wrap this up, because I told everybody we'd shoot for about 30 minutes or so and we could go on and on and on. That's what's really nice about the training package that you guys have put together. It's very affordable. Somebody can go in and they can get educated so they have the knowledge, understanding, see how your checklist, the patterns you look at, and it's really, really well done in how easy it is to understand. Because I mean, I didn't know anything about this stuff. I never looked at charts or anything like that, and it's given me enough education. And then it makes being part of the group that you have, the community that you guys are building, that, like you said, there's strength in numbers, and the community just kind of gets bigger and bigger and tighter. That we got a great culture going on in there. That people, when they get involved, can watch the things. I mean, you've got a lot of these things on a regular, like on a weekly basis. You're showing live trades, basically how it works, what you're looking for, giving tips. I mean, I've watched a bunch of those. What was kind of cool is when I first came into the group, I went back in time like 3-4 months ago when you had done some, just out of curiosity to see what you said there. And then I looked at those same charts here and I was like, holy smokes, this is, he does have a crystal ball. Like I was like, that's what I mean. Because I look at evidence and proof before before I go full tilt on something. And that was it, is once I saw a lot of that stuff, and it wasn't guessing, you know what I mean? I wasn't,
Right.
Most of mine has been throw some money at the wall and hope it sticks. And I hope I don't, some people's investment strategies, I hope I don't lose too much.
Right.
Like, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's probably not going to help. Right. But when you start to see this, I mean, I wrote some goals down just this morning after I got up about where, now that I am starting to understand this, where I can see this financially for myself. And I mean, I'm talking, there's potential for generational wealth here if somebody actually uses their head and thinks bigger.
Positively.
I mean, it is what it is. So Joseph, Jopo, I won't call you Jopo to Stevo, is give us some closing thoughts, because we're going to do more of these videos, and we're going to put these on audios on podcasts and videos and get them out there in the groups. I'm putting them on my channel. I'm putting them on my Facebook page, my website, and we're going to do it for YouTube.
Good.
So, go ahead.
Based on what you just said, I'll give them some food for thought, some homework. You were talking about formulas, and then you look back at where the numbers were. They're all basic numbers, right? So what we teach is a formula that, ironically enough, is for a down market and a sideways market. Why? Because it's easier to make money in a bull market. A lot of people are showing that they're doing well right now. The proof is going to be in the pudding in the down market, how they do. So here's some of the numbers, right? We want to teach a formula that allows you to identify a 6% profit trade. And if I can teach you how to do that, we can teach you how to do that. If you do 1 6% trade a month, remember, it's cumulative. At the end of the year, you're up 100%, more than 100%. That's always the goal. The goal is always to just continuously double your portfolio. There's no time frame on it. It's as fast as you can. If you can do 1 6%, so what does that mean? Well, if you could do 2 6% trades, then you do it in 6 months, right? Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but what are some of the trades that we've done that you've seen percentage-wise lately?
Well, I'm still learning, but I mean, what I do know is I did one with my own money, right? And I was like, okay, based on what I'm looking at, this and this, I mean, I doubled my money in 30 days. I think it was more like 22 days. And I'm like, wait a second. Okay. And then but at the same time, I had a couple, because like you said, I'm not trading everything out there. I was just looking at the ones that you guys had talked about. And I'm trying to learn, because I'm trying to not just do them because you say that this is what you're doing, but know why you're doing them. Right. It's like you said, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. And I started going in, and some of the other ones, like I've gotten into, I've been able to put the money in there, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They grew. I pulled profit, and I left some of the money I just left in there because I thought maybe I was going to let some of this as a long term. But I pulled enough profit that I didn't just pull the profit and go buy a burrito with it. I could have actually bought something pretty big. It wasn't just a burrito, but I didn't just do that. I took that profit, and I'd already been tracking one other thing, and took that profit and stuck it over there. And I mean, I look like my boys are 18 and 21, and they both have accounts now. They have their own wallets that I set them up with 4 or 5 months ago. And when I didn't know what I was doing, and my son just called me 2 days ago, and I said, I want you to, I'm not going to give him what exactly or whatever. He says, Dad, I'm ready. I got some money, because he's been making some really good money at his job. I said, I want to put some money in this. And I said, I would recommend this. And if I tell you to sell it, you sell it without question. Is that cool? And he says, yes. And I've watched it go up. I think it's 45% this week that he's increased what he put in. I mean, I'm going to look like a genius to this, my kid, now they're going to start thinking Dad knows what he's talking about in business, because kids do that. But it's been pretty amazing to see that. So, because I'm not going to, we're not allowed to really give advice, that kind of thing. And you want to,
teach them how to do it. And to your point, right? You should know your sell price before you buy, right? And you should be able to back that mindset up with the charts. So there is no guessing. We don't do any guessing here. And the other thing I wanted to say was, for people who are watching who are new to this, take a calculator and let's use the number 1,000. If you have more money, add a zero to it. It doesn't matter. But take in your calculator, say 1,000. And then I want you to just double it 10 times. And let me know what you have. And if you're interested in trying to learn a process that could potentially do that, that's what we're all about. Now, no one's saying that if you have $5,000, we can't do this with 5 different accounts. So it doesn't. If you take the 1,000, double it 10 times, then just times the number by 5. But again, I think you'll be shocked if you plug into a system that's all about numbers and simplicity. What we tried to do is eliminate all the BS, all the rhetoric, and all the headlines and noise. That's all it is noise. When you eliminate all that, it's almost shocking. And when we do our live event, we go through the headlines and we laugh at them and make fun of them because they're, at one last at the was it Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, they actually said that the return that Bitcoin was giving people was disgusting. They were disgusted and frustrated with it. And it offends me that they say that, because what are we actually saying? What is society that agrees with that saying? That if somebody works hard for their money and they find an opportunity to invest it in, and Bitcoin has been outproducing pretty much everything except other cryptocurrencies, right? In how many years does it have to do this before they appreciate it? And it makes someone 600% in the year just because they can't do that for their clients. They're mad, and it's disgusting that you're doing that and it's going to end bad. Wow. Here's what they don't realize. And you hit the nail on the head before, which is why we recommend that book. That book, The Richest Man in Babylon, teaches us that if we go to work and we earn money, we put those soldiers to work for us. And that's exactly where we adopted it from. When you make that investment with that hard-earned money, when it hits your number, that money comes back to you always. You want to put it in, keep pulling your money back out. All of a sudden, you have 5 or 6 revenue streams, but you're still holding the money that you worked for. That's the difference between wealthy people and working class people. They put their money to work for them and they spend what it earns. And so it's a mind shift. It's a mind shift that we're trying to get people on board with. And when they're doing it like you, I get to see the satisfaction. I remember talking to you the day that you came on board. And I remember the questions that I can tell where you are from the angle of speech when you ask a question to where you are now. You're all in. You get it. You understand it. And you also understand that there has never been a better time to invest in cryptocurrency than now. It is way better now than it was when I invested in 2013, when I was a mad scientist and everyone thought I was out of my mind. Right now, it is in the beginning of the acceptance phase is where all the big money is. This is the time to get involved because the track is laid and the majority of the country is already accepted. So next is going to come in your wallet, whether you choose to participate or not. You're going to have a wallet linked to your crypto. And when you spend it, someone's making that transaction fee. You want to make the money on the transaction? We'll help you do it. You want to set companies up that are going to all switch to the blockchain? We'll help you do it. Tell us what you want to do in the crypto space, and we'll help you get set up. We are a vehicle committed to one-stop shopping for crypto. Because as crypto starts to dominate, we want to be the ones who set people up to make money in every avenue of it. We don't care what avenue it is, it doesn't matter to us. So we negotiate it, we lay the money out, and we offer it to all of our subscribers. That's what we do.
That's awesome.
And that's coming down the pipe. That's not even available yet.
I remember hearing you say that. Do you want to know how all in I am on crypto? I bought 2 Bitcoin t-shirts this week. That's how far.
I want to give you a negative thing on that, if you don't mind. It's the nickel's worth of free advice. Don't make yourself a target. Because if somebody thinks that you're a Bitcoin guy because you pulled up in a Bitcoin rolls, they're going to see if they can hack your phone.
Got it.
So
that's fair. That's fair.
Proverbial nickel's.
I'm only wearing it though at places that I'm comfortable with the people around me. That's actually brought up the question. Yeah, it's brought up the question, so I understand. Yeah. Well, Joe, thank you so much for being on here. I know we could talk for probably a couple more hours, and we're going to end up doing that down the road. So thank you so much for everybody. We're going to put the wherever this is posted or whatever, we'll put links to get the trainings, and you can get information and stuff like that, and we can set you up and you can become part of the group, the Facebook group that we're doing, and the private group that's just exclusive for members and that kind of thing. So Joe, thank you so much for being on here, man. I really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me. It was a pleasure always. Thanks, Mike. Bye-bye. Bye,
Awesome. All
everybody.
right, we're going to say goodbye to everybody.